Библии, ах перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш имейл info@rusa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460 08 77.
Добрый день всем, кто сейчас настроен на радио РУСА. В эфире самая светлая передача нашего радио. Thank God it's Tuesday. Она самая светлая, самая добрая и самая поучительная в хорошем смысле этого слова, потому что в ней принимают участие самый великий раввин нашего времени, самый светлый, самый знающий, самый позитивный раввин Маниса Фридман. И разговор у нас сегодня, во-первых, конечно же, поздравляю всех со светлым праздником Хануки. И желаю всем добра, света, благополучия и всего самого-самого доброго, что только можно пожелать. И, конечно же, у нас разговор сегодня пойдет именно по поводу, а что именно такое Ханука? В нем заложено столько много разных значений, и победа, и свет, и чистота, и невинность. Ну, столько всего заложено в этом празднике. Вот хотелось бы поговорить с раввином Манисом Фридманом и узнать, вот, что самое главное, что мы можем для себя сейчас в наше такое непростое время применить, чтобы улучшить, осветлить и сделать нашу жизнь лучше. Вот с этими словами сразу же перехожу к раввину Манису Фридману. Hello, Rabbi Manis Friedman. Happy Hanukkah. So wonderful to have you on our radio every time, but especially during Hanukkah, because it's such a special, such a miraculous time. It's so positive. So who better to speak with about such positivity and light than with a rabbi who brings it to us every single day in one way, shape, or form. Rabbi Friedman, Hanukkah has so many meanings, so many messages rather, and it has a message of bravery, of triumph, of purity, of innocence, of miracles, of light. If we were to say what is the most important message of Hanukkah, what would it be? What is the deepest essence of Hanukkah? And of course, how can we use all the lessons and all the meaning that Hanukkah has and apply it to our life today when we're going through pretty dark times, and we need this light, we need this lesson, we need these messages to understand them in order to make our everyday life today better. So,
very hard to pick one out of the whole group. But it could be that the most relevant for us today is the persevering or the preserving of innocence. We desperately need to be innocent. It's just a human condition. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with human dignity. We need to feel innocent. The story of Hanukkah is that the Hellenists came into a very innocent setting. Jews were minding their own business, being Jewish, which is natural. That's what Jews are, so they were busy being Jewish. And the Hellenists came in and said, you got to introduce a little secular stuff. You have to compromise your innocence. And they succeeded to a great degree, to where there were many Jews who were confused and actually joined the movement, the philosophy. But as is always the case, there was one little group of people who refused to give up their innocence, their purity, and they fought against terrible odds, and they won. And when they lit the menorah, they did it with oil that was not compromised. Because that was the whole thing. The whole thing was, I will not lose my innocence. for our times today, it's beyond losing innocence. We don't even know what innocent means anymore. We don't know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are because we don't know right from wrong. Every argument that seems to be sensitive or thoughtful becomes the newest of the Ten Commandments. And things that are absolutely essential and absolutely necessary become ridiculed. We've got everything so backwards. So we're talking about light overcoming the darkness. But what happens when people consider the darkness the light? And they think of the light as the darkness. Now what are you going to do? So we've really gotten down to the most fundamental confusion of the most fundamental concepts of life. So where in the Torah are we going to find this very fundamental clarity to clean up this mess? Because when we don't know light from dark, I mean, it's one thing not to know holy from unholy. Okay, not everybody is equipped to appreciate and understand holiness. Can you live that way? Yeah, you can live that way. Maybe not everybody is not everybody is a genius when it comes to religion, theology. Not everyone has a healthy opinion about God. Okay, but you can live that way. But when you don't know light from dark, day from night, you're not functional. You can't live like this. So where is that information? Where is that wisdom that goes straight to the ultimate, fundamental, rock bottom facts of life? What's what? Or in different words, why life at all? We're arguing about this life or that life. Why life? Scary question. But if we don't answer it, we're not getting to first base. What's life? Who needs it? Let's start with the fundamentals. It's not that scary once you know that there are answers. It's only scary because you think there'll never be answers, which is itself a problem. You have a question for which there is no answer. No wonder we're confused and anxious. We're so anxious. So really, the question is, how do we get rid of this anxiety? It's eating us up. And pills is not a solution. Even meditation is not a solution. It calms your anxiety. It doesn't get to the cause. You're just taking a vacation from it. What's causing the anxiety? Why is everybody anxious? Only the Torah has the answer. And that's what the Maccabees did in the days of Hanukkah. They wouldn't settle for good enough. Like, there was plenty of oil. It just wasn't pure oil. They needed to light the menorah, so go ahead. Settle for oil that is not so perfect. I said, no. You compromise with that, then you compromise with something else, and then you compromise with a third thing, and all of a sudden you're not who you are. And that can't be. So no compromise when it comes to innocence. That's what it is. We're anxious because we don't feel innocent. Anybody know an answer to this? Anybody have a recipe for innocence, regaining innocence? The Maccabees did. So that is the most relevant of all the messages.
So the message is not to settle for anything less, to optimize what, Rabbi Friedman, in today's day and age?
Yes. On some level and in certain ways, we are very comfortable admitting that we are flawed. You know, everybody says, okay, I'm not perfect. What an understatement. We're not perfect. In fact, we're pretty damaged. Not only because of our own life experiences, but from the past. All the past traumas don't just disappear overnight. We inherit some of them, we remember some of them, we read about some of them, and it all adds to our anxiety. So on the one hand, it's a very acceptable fact of life that we are very damaged people. It's just a fact of life. We're not as good as our grandparents, as our great-grandparents. Yeah, we're very flawed, very flawed. And that's why we feel so vulnerable and so fragile and so anxious. And it's all true. The question is, what matters? What matters? That's a simple example. If I was created to be a carpenter, and I happen to be a good carpenter, but I'm really bad at philosophy, I'm really bad at medicine, I'm really bad at history, I'm really bad at sports, and I'm not good looking either. So I'm a very damaged, flawed human being, and it's eating me up. Why? If I was created to be a carpenter, and I'm a carpenter, what am I apologizing for? That I'm not something that I'm not? If I know what I was created to be, then all those other concerns would fall away. In simple language, when a person says, very common, a person says, I don't know if I have what it takes. I don't have what it takes. What it takes for what? You can point to many things that you don't have, many talents that you're lacking. So you don't have what? I don't have what it takes. What it takes to do what? To be a perfect human being? Who says you have to be a perfect human being? Who set that as a goal? When a person says, do I have what it takes? God created you for a purpose. Do you have what it takes to fulfill that purpose? Yes, because that's what he gives you, the ability to fulfill your purpose. So do you have what it takes? Well, it depends on what you're expecting. You have what it takes to serve the purpose for which you exist. Do you have what it takes for everything else? No. Why would you be burdened with all those talents that you don't need to use? So God only gives you what you need. So why aren't you good at philosophy? He doesn't want you as a philosopher. He needs you as a carpenter. So where would all that anxiety go if I realized I'm not here to be all those other things? Just tell me what I am here for, and I'm fine. So the question really is, what is needed from me? Just tell me, I'll do it. I'll do it, I promise. But don't leave me guessing. Should I do this? Should I be good at that? How come I don't have this talent? How come I'm not good at that? Yeah, go ahead, eat your heart out. What are you doing to yourself? Well, shouldn't a person be good at everything? No. No. If you're good at everything, you're good for nothing. Find the thing that you're supposed to be and be it completely. And then you're innocent. You're where you belong, doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have no reason to feel guilty or anxious or failure. You're great. Life doesn't have to be that complicated. Once you introduce the idea that we're here for a reason, not our reason, well, that clears everything up.
Rabbi Friedman, in our time, we are confused about that as well. What is our reason? What is our purpose? What tomorrow holds? Whatever we're doing today, is it going to be relevant tomorrow? Because things are so rapidly changing. And I think this is the key to why we're so anxious. Even those people who are doctors, who think they do know what their purpose here is. They're good doctors. And then we had 2 years of insanity and confusion in the medical field. And how should we all who we thought we knew our purpose, who we thought we're good at what we do, how can we stay focused and not be anxious?
Well, that's a very good example. What is a doctor supposed to think? This is my purpose. God created me with the mission and the purpose of healing people. So if a certain medicine becomes popular, should I be prescribing it? No, you should be healing people. In other words, the industry of medicine or the rules of the medical world, why are you obeying those rules and not God's rules? Well, I might lose my license, I'll lose my job, I'll lose my benefits. Yeah, well, that's not what you're here for. So again, it just shows how if you keep your eye on the purpose, you can't go wrong. When other things start to get to you and become more important than your purpose, yeah, you can get very far from what you're supposed to be. So many doctors were intimidated. So are you still a healer? And that's true of everything, even in religion. You were created to serve God. If you're trying to get to heaven, are you still serving God, or you got some other agenda going? So that's what innocence means. Don't clutter what is real and true with foreign toxic substances. Keep it clean, keep it innocent.
Rabbi Friedman, in observance of what's going on in the world today, it seems like people are going, based on what you're saying, people are going towards this innocence, and they are becoming braver, and they're speaking out more, and they're standing up for what they believe in, even though it does have consequences, and they're willing to face the consequences of today's society. I don't know how far these consequences are going to be taken, and what's the bottom line, how people are going to get hurt by standing up for what they believe, for what is right, and for not willing to compromise. Is that the right approach? Is this the right way to be? Because it has consequences that we don't know actually what kind of consequences going toward innocence holds for us.
The consequences are going to be that everyone will be jealous of you and want what you have. Clarity. These people are not great heroes. It's all of a sudden they see clearly, so why should they be silent? So it's not they've become activists or they've become militant. They just became aware. And when you're aware, you talk about it. So they're not trying to prove something. They're not trying to get attention. If you know something, you say something. If you see something, you say something. So it's just sanity finally asserting itself. I'm just talking to somebody about this when we lose sight of the purpose of the essence. A man does something, a husband does something, and he really hurts his wife. And he apologizes profusely. Here's what he says. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know. I've got a real problem with my temper, with my self-control, my impulse control. I have a huge Yetzer Hara. I have to do something about this. And the wife is standing there thinking, does this have anything to do with me? You hurt me, and you're upset about your Yetzer Hara? You hurt me, and you're upset that you don't have impulse control? I'm the victim here, not you. So here's a guy who really feels bad. He's terribly ashamed of himself. He wants to become a better person. He's missing the boat completely. It's such an insult. I hurt you, but I'm concerned about me. Why am I this way? What's going on with me that I hurt people? Are you still the subject? It's so bad. And it looks so right. Yeah, he's doing some soul searching. And don't do soul searching. You hurt somebody, fix it. For the other person, not for you. The same is true with serving God. In religion, it has become so perverted. I violate a commandment, I commit a sin, and I'm really like, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You just violated God. But you want to know what's wrong with you? When will you finally get to the point? The thing is that if you were focused on the point, you would have never done the sin. If you were focused on your wife, you would not have hurt her. And it doesn't matter whether you have self-control. That's such a red herring. Oh, I must have a problem with impulse control because I hurt my wife. No, you have a problem with your wife. You don't respect her. You're not there for her. Because if you were there for her, you wouldn't need impulse control. That makes sense? We're not focusing on the essence of the issue. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed of myself. Oh, poor you. You're not the hurt party here. How did we get so blind to the issue that is right there in front of our face? Your wife is hurt. Yeah, I know, my self-control is terrible. Excuse me? Your wife is hurt. I know, I got to work on myself. What are you doing? You can't focus? I mean, I don't know what to say. It is so obvious and so clear and so visible, and we don't see it.
Rabbi Friedman, it's amazing. You completely nailed the entire problem of the world and of every single relationship. We're not focusing. It's 100%. But then the big question is how do we regain this focus as individuals and as a society?
My theme that I've been harping about for years already. One of the things the Hellenists in the time of Hanukkah really believed in was the perfection and the superiority of the human condition. Human beings are the greatest. We're so smart, we're so capable, we're so brilliant, we're the highest thing in all of creation. True. Therefore, nothing may get in our way. Nothing is more important than the human being. And the human being's opinions and the human being's needs. That's it, we're messed up. Completely messed up. That is not life, that is not true, that's not reality. Messed up completely. Nothing is going to go right. Because being the highest of all creations makes you the most responsible to the Creator, not to celebrate your own greatness. That's it. In one sentence, there's where the problem is. We are the greatest of all creations. What conclusion does that bring you to? That you deserve to have everything go your way? That's absurd. The highest of all creations should be the most humble. The highest of all creation should be the most dedicated to the purpose of the Creator, because you're the closest to the Creator. But now you think you're the Creator. Oh, that's bad. The highest of all creations is the closest to the Creator. That doesn't make you the Creator. It makes you devoted to the Creator's purpose. The difference is so immense. And that's why if you don't get it exactly right, then you are totally wrong. Not a little wrong. Everything's wrong. And when everything's wrong, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel disgusted. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel directionless. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel hopeless, pointless, cynical. Everything's going to go wrong. Not just a little bit. So in our beliefs, we have to be very precise. You got to stop hurting your wife. I don't care whether you have self-control. Because if you don't stop hurting your wife, nothing else matters. Whatever you do, it's going to be wrong.
Rabbi Friedman, then the obvious question is, how do we get to that point? Because it seems like there's interference that we've been taught all the time. First, you have to figure yourself out, figure out what's causing the problem, and then you can get to resolving the problem. So how do we get past that point and get straight to the solution?
So a little bit of a hint you can find in the Ten Commandments. Don't murder, don't steal, don't commit adultery. Don't bear false witness, don't be jealous of what your neighbor has. Be good to your mother, keep Shabbat, believe in God. Who is this addressed to? Who should not murder or steal or commit adultery? A person who has no self-control. Otherwise, you have to tell it not to. So here's what God is saying. You want to work on yourself and perfect yourself and develop all your talents and all your potential in your free time. In your free time. But what you must do is not kill, not steal, and not commit adultery. In other words, you got to do what's right, even though you're not right. And that's beautiful. A human being can do what is right, even when the person himself is not right. I don't have willpower, I don't have wisdom, I'm not very sensitive, I'm not the dedicated type. So I can hurt my wife? Yeah, you crazy. You crazy? I got to go for therapy. I got to work very hard on myself. Maybe it'll take 2, 3, 4 years, and I will learn to control my temper, and then my wife will stop getting hurt. Really? No, your wife stops getting hurt now. In other words, right and wrong behavior is independent of your personality, of your opinions, of your self-worth. So if a person hurts his wife, isn't that a sign of low self-image? Isn't he suffering from a lack of self-confidence, that he has to be violent to impose himself? Yeah, that's it. So now he should work on developing a high self-image. He should work on validating himself. The chutzpah of it. The chutzpah. I hurt you, so I should work on me. Chutzpah.
Rabbi Friedman,
Adding insult to injury.
what you're saying sounds like a magic wand type of situation. Okay, you lost focus, regain focus. You're doing this wrong, just stop it and do it right. But 99%, and I would say probably 99.9% of everybody out there will say, how? I can't. There's no way. All the trauma, all the damage that you actually said we went through as people, as individuals, as a society, all that. How do we turn it off and turn on the right switch? Turn off the wrong switch, turn on the right switch.
You know, even the most immoral people have their values. No normal, functional human being is without values. You know, even prostitutes have their dignity. $10? What do you think I am? Well, I think you're a prostitute. The question is, how much do you charge? No, that's beneath my dignity. Oh, you have dignity? Yes. Yes. So obviously, what we really believe in, we have no problem controlling. And that's what keeps us minimally sane. So I think we talked about this once before. A guy tells me that he lost his temper with his wife and he hit her. He says, I lost control. I lost control and I hit my wife. I'm shocked. I said, did you hit her with a bat? With a brick? He says, don't be crazy. Oh, so even when you were angry, even when you lost control, hitting her with a bat, that's crazy. No, I didn't do that. You lost control? You were totally in control. You were in control, and in your mind, hitting somebody with a bat, that's insane. Never do that. So you didn't lose control. You hit her with your hand because you gave yourself permission. But even at your angriest, you would never hit her with a brick. You're not crazy. So did you lose control or did you not? So if a person says, oh, I don't have impulse control. Oh, really? So do you steal everything you find attractive and you just walk off of it? No, don't steal. Oh, so you do have impulse control. Just not when it comes to your wife. How come? Well, she got me angry. Yeah, and the diamond ring got you jealous. So why didn't you just take it? Because you have no impulse control. That which we truly believe, that which we truly value, we don't need impulse control. Our belief and our convictions, our moral standards, don't need any help. You don't need self-control. You don't need a high self-image. You don't need to validate yourself in order to do what you believe is right or wrong. So if you hit your wife, it's because you're not thinking about her at all. And the proof is, after you hit her, all you can talk about is yourself.
Rabbi Friedman, that is a very radical example, and thank you for it, because we do need a little bit of shock value in our life. But what about little things that could hurt a wife, like forgetting an anniversary or lack of attention? And that wouldn't happen because a husband lost control. That would happen because a husband is emotionally detached, which also can hurt a woman. And how do we justify those things? And those things can stem from the fact that the husband has some kind of trauma of, and he can't be emotionally connected to his wife properly. That would also hurt. But that is not radical, and it's something people can live with, but it still can be hurtful. How do we perfect ourselves in those kind of case scenarios? Is that less important? Is it something we can just, maybe because life is so crazy, leave alone nowadays, not deal with, and concentrate on the more vital issues?
Well, that would be maybe good advice for the wife. If your husband keeps forgetting your birthday, so let it go. It's not that important. But if the man says, oh, I forgot your birthday again, I'm having problems with my memory. No, you're not. You remember everything you feel is important to remember. Why is this not important to you? So again, the focus should be on what's important to her. But you don't care what's important to her. That's why you don't remember what's important to her. But you do remember what's important to you. So don't tell me you have memory problems. It's the same idea, it's the same thing. We're way too focused on ourselves, and we give ourselves license. We actually think it's the right thing to do. Indulge in yourself while your wife is suffering. How can that be right? In other words, right and wrong are much more powerful than personality, qualities, traits, or weaknesses. If you know something is wrong, you don't have a problem. It's when you don't think it's so important, you don't think it's so right, you don't think it's so wrong, then you're going to have a problem. So then you're going to go and fix yourself while the problem continues. Not nice.
Rev. Friedman, amazing. Unfortunately, this time goes by so quickly, and we only have like a couple more minutes left of today's program. Can we sum it up so we can take today's lesson and apply it today's holiday and today's conversation and apply it to our daily lives? Maybe just focus us so we can become better and live better and have less anxiety in our lives.
It's Hanukkah. What do you mean it's Hanukkah? Look on the calendar. It says Hanukkah. Yeah, but I'm not in the mood and I don't know what it's all about and I don't really care. It's Hanukkah. How do we relate to this? Or Yom Kippur, or Simchas Torah, or your wife's birthday. Why is it important for me? I don't know. It makes no difference to me what the calendar says. It's the same kind of day it was the day before. So what do you mean, it's Hanukkah? Not for me. In other words, do I relate to Hanukkah subjectively or objectively? It's Sunday. You don't go to work. Everybody. Does Sunday mean anything to you? Not personally. But you're not going to work. No, because Sunday we don't go to work. Does it have to be subjective? Does Sunday have to be your favorite day of the week? No, Sunday you don't go to work. It's an objective reality. It's there. It's a fact. Same thing with Hanukkah. A miracle happened 2,000 years ago to a bunch of people. I don't remember their names. What's it to me? Who says it has to be about you? There's a reality in the world. The days of Hanukkah are different than the days before and after. Shabbat is a different kind of day than the day before or the day after. Not because you think so, not because you feel it, but because it is. Can you be considerate enough, generous enough to react to what is, even though it's not your idea? You didn't create Hanukkah, so that's why you can't relate to it. It's your wife's birthday. Let her remember. Why should I remember? Is that what it comes down to? If it's not your birthday, then it's none of your business. That's so narcissistic. And I think that that's a very good definition of narcissism. Narcissism means I cannot recognize an objective truth I can only deal with things that are subjectively meaningful to me. So I'm so in love with my own image that I can't tear myself away. I got to stand in front of that mirror and just keep looking. But it's time to go eat. It's not my thing. But it's time to go to work. Not my thing. I'm in love with myself.
Ваши голоса.
Not yet. We're not letting the next hour start just yet. Sorry about that.
That's the message. That's the message. Yes, something happened to our ancestors 2,000 years ago. It has very little to do with you. But it's real. It's true. These days are special. It's not special unless the miracle happened to you. That's so narcissistic. So, never mind whether you know about the miracle or you don't know about the miracle, whether you believe in miracles, whether you're spiritual or religious, get a menorah and light it. Why? Because it's Hanukkah. Reality is real. It doesn't have to be about you. That will light up the world, because the one thing we're missing is the ability to live with the truth, even if it's not my taste. It's liberating.
Amazing. Rabbi Friedman, another phenomenal hour of wisdom, light, clarity, focus, and hopefully this is something that will help people regain that innocence that unfortunately we've lost, or losing, or gaining. I don't know which one it is. Well, hopefully it's something that we're gonna regain very, very soon. Again, thank you so much for everything you do for the world on everyday basis. I follow your YouTube channel religiously, if I could say that. It's amazing. So many phenomenal, good messages, and I definitely recommend for everybody to do the same. Thank you for keeping us sane and focused. And happy Hanukkah to you and your whole family. Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman.
Thank you for the opportunity. And whoever needs a menorah, local Chabad house, give them a call.
Awesome. Thank you so much. И спасибо огромное всем, кто нас сегодня слушал. Света, добра, счастья, благополучия. Всего только самого светлого, самого доброго в эти дни света, дни Хануки и вообще каждый день нашей жизни, чтобы уже мы наконец-то все сфокусировались на том, что главное, и получили тот покой на душе и радость сердца, которые мы все так ищем и так желаем. И с этими словами я, Анна Пекерман, прощаюсь со всеми до следующей недели.
WWPR 105.1 FM HD2 New York.